Hey guys, Preston here, welcome back to another video. I want to start this by just thanking everyone who watched my previous video on Steven Nelson. I am thoroughly surprised by the amount of views that is received, and I'm incredibly thankful. Just make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more sports videos, because this is going to keep going at least every other day for sure. Hopefully I can start doing daily soon, but at least every other day for now. I've been sticking to that. So we're going to be back with another Steelers signing, because, well, that's my team, so I can talk about them the most. Once again, I will dive into free agency at a later date in more detail. But we're going to start with the second big signing from Steelers in free agency that does not include them re-signing their own people, which they've done plenty of. They've re-signed Eli Rogers, Anthony Chickillo, Jordan Berry, etc. So those we might talk to another day. I feel like I might go team by team, breaking down their free agency moves, additions, subtractions, kind of grading them as a whole. But for now, we're talking about the wide receiver Pittsburgh added in the free agency, Donte Moncrief. So it is a 2-year deal. The salary is not disclosed. I can't give a full analysis of it because obviously, depending on how much he gets paid, sort of has an impact on it, right? Because if it's a huge cap hit, definitely not worth it. If it's super cheap, it's even better. If it's just kind of normal, you know, it's pretty good still. So just some quick background. Donte went to school at Ole Miss. He was originally drafted by the Colts in 2014, and so this is like his 5th, 6th year. He's only 25, which is nice. He's a tall receiver. I'd say he's definitely more of a physical, vertical threat is what he'd say. He was used a lot for those deep balls most of his career. He's 6'2", 216 pounds, which is, I mean, that's a big build. That's a good build for a receiver. He is more than likely he's going to be our number 2 or number 3 guy, depending on how James Washington turns out. It appears there'll be a competition between him and Washington for that number 2 slot in this offseason. So, some quick background. So last season he had 48 receptions for 668 yards. The average reception of his was 13.9, so 14 yards per catch. His longest was 80, which kind of shows off his deep threat ability. 14 yards on average is pretty good. That's pretty deep. And 3 touchdowns. So the touchdowns weren't great, but you have to realize he's playing on the Jags, who don't have a great offense, and the quarterback he was working with. So to dive more into that, the Pro Football Focus Steelers account, which I recommend you follow regardless, showed off some real interesting stuff, so I thought I'd bring it up. So they showed his Pro Football Focus grades per year based off the quarterback he was with. So from 2014 to 2016, when he was with Andrew Luck, you know, a good quarterback. Andrew Luck is a very solid quarterback. So his rookie year till 2016, his Pro Football Focus grades were 71.2, 72, and 73.4. That's good. That's an above average wide receiver. But the 1 year Luck was hurt and he was relying on Jacoby Brissett, he had a 61.1, and last year with Blake Bortles and Kessler filling in for Bortles, he had a 62.3. So I think this goes to show that maybe he didn't look as good as his previous years when he was taking passes from Brissett and Bortles, but you have to realize that Ben Roethlisberger will be the best quarterback that he has played with, and Andrew Luck's good. Ben's better though, but when he's playing with Luck, if he could pull 73s on his Pro Football Focus, you know, low 70s on his grade, which is solid, that's really solid, he can get that again with Ben, if not higher. So that's why there's a lot of upside with this pick. He's still super young, so I mean, it's a 2-year deal, so at the end of it, he'll be 27. So it'll be like just entering prime, you could say, depending on how you look at what someone's prime would be. He's super young still. He's got the build to be a good receiver. He's obviously been developed. The crazy part is he's actually one of the most experienced, if not the most experienced receiver in our locker room, which is really saying something when your 25-year-old is like the veteran of your receiver core, which is crazy. So he'll have to be kind of a role model for these guys, a bit of a veteran, get some leadership in there. And I know there's some Steelers fans mad that they couldn't land someone bigger, you know, like why don't we get Golden Tate or something like that. But Golden Tate signed for like $30-something million, and that is not money we could have afforded to throw out with the cap hits we are currently stuck with. Once the dead money from Antonio Brown is off us, we can actually dive into something. Not sure what we'll do by then, but for now, this is a good addition. This is a solid number 2, number 3 wide receiver, and it just builds into this wide receiver room, adds some experience that is missing with Antonio Brown leading. Hopefully some true leadership. Moncrief is a hard worker, no drama with this guy. The cool part, I saw his press conference, his dad is a Steelers fan, so that's pretty dope. He's going to be pretty motivated to play here. His dad's going to enjoy and root for him the whole time. And yeah, overall, this is a solid signing. Like I said, The salary was not released. The cap hit for this year wasn't released. None of that stuff is released, guaranteed, etc. But I have a feeling it wasn't crazy expensive, especially since we spent the $8.5 million per year on Nelson already, and we didn't have that much cap room to begin with. Although newest rumors for you guys, there's a bit of a rumor circulating around that we could end up with Justin Houston. We need to clear some cap for that to work, which has already been rumored. We're going to restructure Ben's contract, which has not been announced yet as of 11 p.m. on March 14th. If it happens, we can clear up some room. There's also some guys we could cut ties with if we really needed it. And it'll be interesting to see what we do there. One thing for sure is that you will not see Bud Dupree will likely stay no matter what you think of him, because his $9 million deal became guaranteed yesterday. So, sorry, get thirsty. He's not going anywhere, but Houston will be interesting to add to this team. I know it's not related to Moncrief, but it's just kind of an interesting thing to think about. But just Moncrief in general, he's solid. I think he's developed pretty well. Obviously, he's not a star receiver or anything, but he wasn't a high round. He was like a third round pick, so it's not. Couldn't expect a lot from him. Obviously, he's not Antonio Brown, and I don't think it's unfair to compare him to that. Obviously, just because we lost Antonio Brown doesn't mean we're going to sign Antonio Brown in free agency. This wide receiver class was not that deep, and we needed an affordable guy who could fill a role, and that's what Moncrief does. So let me know what you guys think of this Moncrief signing. Who else we should sign, if anyone? And draft-wise, real quick, I'm guessing we'll go middle linebacker now in the first round, or maybe another safety, just because we really need a coverage safety back there. I'll talk more about draft plans for teams once we get closer to the draft. But, yeah, let me know. Should we still draft a receiver after this, or do you think Juju, Moncrief, Washington, Switzer, and Rodgers is enough for this year? Plus McDonald, who's been developing greatly as a receiving tight end threat for us to use. Because I'd say this wide receiver core is pretty solid. Obviously, with the moves the Browns made, it is not the best in our division. But I could make an argument it's at least the second best. I'd say more than likely the third, due to AJ Green and Tyler Boyd doing pretty well in the Bengals. But the Bengals are definitely, don't want to jinx us or anything, but I really don't think they're a threat this year. So, yeah, once again, let me know what you think of this signing. I'd say it's a good signing for us. It helps out, fills a need. Obviously, he's not AB, but he's a good receiver. So let me know what you think about Moncrief below and what else you think Pittsburgh should do. Make sure you subscribe for more sports content. I will be uploading at least every other day as promised. This is KMA Preston signing out. See you guys later.